Mr. Ballard, even though I know your first and last name, can I have your first name, your last name, how you spell both of them, and then what you want your title to be?
Well, my name is Phil Ballard, P-H-I-L-B-A-L-L-A-R-D. My title, I'm just the Knox County Assessor of Property, or more commonly, probably, people know it as the Property Assessor.
Okay.
So
tell me a little bit about what's going on. You've been in the newspaper recently. What's happening?
Well, I tell you what brought the news flash was that we have another official under investigation, and part of it had to do with county cars. And of course, I have a county car, and they went to all the offices. And when I came in the office, I had the election to take a county vehicle for business use, but you're also allowed to drive it home. You got to fill out the paperwork, and or a car allowance. So when I come in about a week before, I selected the car allowance, even though I'd held the job, didn't know what it would entail. And that was just an easy way. As time went on, then I started using the car, looking at properties. That, of course, is what that we do. And you tend to want to use those vehicles. A lot of it's new construction, mud. County vehicles are set up for car washes and all like that. So as I started to use the car more and more, then, and plus take it home, then I told my wife I need to make a change because it's not right. And it was a simple conversation. I was under no public scrutiny or public pressure or any investigation. And sometime probably in December, I had told my admin that we needed to make a change. We'd been talking about it anyway. And so we attempted to do that. And either she or I contacted the department. They sent a form down. Had I probably sent it back by the computer and exact instructions, but instead I did it the old-fashioned way. I had it taken up in person, thinking that was the better way. Well, as it turned out, it doesn't have anything to do with the finance or payroll. They do their job extremely well. Everybody, including Chris Caldwell. So if there's any something that didn't get communicated, it was on my part. So, so things follow the payroll. So payroll is in 2 weeks instruments. So whatever happened, I'm not going to go back and read notes and stuff like that. It was determined that it would be January 17th. That was an easy date, and we did. But in taking the paperwork up, they stopped it going forward. All I did was I had the option coming in the office, and I could change that option at any time. That was my decision. So this is administrative sort of on my part, that the paperwork, but part of it got done the way that I wanted it to, and part did not. So, you know, with this, so you're on a payroll type deal, so it comes in 2 weeks. It wasn't a priority because it wasn't nothing special, it was just administrative paperwork change. So we finally got that worked out. What the county preferred to do is handle it over several pay periods so it would get proper accounting. You got to remember, IRS involved my money, my salary, so they wanted to do it and be assured versus me handing them a check and just paying it off. That was the way the county preferred. And like I said, there was nothing, no scrutiny or nothing. Now with the comptroller did visit me, one of his representatives visited me. We went all through that. And I don't know that I got cleared or didn't clear. They don't tell you stuff, but they looked at everybody. And it didn't seem to me in person with them that it was a big thing because I did this, or at least started everything in December when I saw that I was using the car more. You are permitted to take the car home. You fill out more paperwork, and they charge you between your commute between your house and the city-county building. So, you know, that part was not stretched. Never took it on vacations or any other stuff you might be reading now. If it wasn't for the other, this is just sort of a ordinary administrative paperwork thing. So, I mean, that's what that I can tell you about that unless you have other questions.
Yeah, we were just kind of wanting to iron out the timeline, you know, because I think that with the Sentinel, things got a little bit confused on our end, you know, because we couldn't find anything from December because we'd asked the county. And so we couldn't find anything from December. So we were wondering when exactly you told them that you wanted to switch your thing.
You know, here again, we can go back, but me and my administrative person had been talking about it, had a casual conversation with my wife. This is just not, it wasn't a big deal. Phil Ballard was going to take care of it. Phil Ballard took care of it. Nobody can deny it, at least part of it. I don't look at it as self-reporting. It's just I had an option. I exercised that option. Had the right to do it, and the paperwork was required for accounting purposes. So, I mean, I don't know that I've turned myself in or anything like that. I just exercised the option. That was always my option, and it's a paperwork thing. You know, I wish I'd been a little more timely and all like that, but again, I think that you can't overlook the fact that I self-reported, if that's what we want to call it, and that we made the change. And so going forward, they wasn't, but going back, picking up the part of my car allowance, that didn't get done, and I'm sure that that's my fault, but I worked at it till it did get done. And here again, I wasn't under public scrutiny, or nobody was looking at, and I started the process months before any of that came about.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, just so that, you know, when we air this, because I want to make sure everything's completely clear, and like you are, you know, getting your 100% transparency out there, you know. You cleared it on your own accord, you weren't under any scrutiny. Mm-hmm. We had it that January 17th was the day that you you switched it over.
That swallowed the payroll period.
Yeah, but you put the paperwork in December and it didn't get
I don't think that we put, no, I think it come in about that time. To get the form, then we talked a little bit earlier. Okay. My mistake is I took the form, filled it out longhand, and set it up to be sure that it got done.
Okay.
And so I'm sure that's between my administrative assistant that I want it done. And again, I'm going to take the responsibility. I'm not putting the blame on the county. I'm not putting the blame on the administrative assistant. But the thing about it, it didn't deter me. It wasn't a highlight, and we got it done, you know. But going forward, I mean, the paperwork then did stop the allowance and the use of the vehicle. And I went back farther probably than what I needed to, just because I wasn't going to go back and look at the record and see what day I drove it. And then, you know, it's there for my use. I'm a little bit different than an employee. That's there for my use doesn't mean the rules are different, but I've got a little more discretion because I am allowed to take it home. And that's part of the paperwork that you do fill out when you do that. And that was part of the paperwork that we did there. So, you know, again, when I say December, that's sort of when it would be, and the 17th was the next payroll period.
Okay, okay.
So.
So who exactly, did you reach out to Chris to say?
No, all this was just handled with we get bills in and we pay them, and that's usually my administrative assistant pays all their bills. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if she told them we needed to form. Like I said, it was just administrative, a payroll thing. So it would be between me and whoever she talks to daily in payroll. Okay. Now, I don't know if all this is being recorded, but I can tell you the persons that I deal with is Debbie Dew, Janice Gentry, and Tiffany Bernard. Seldom, she's over the vehicles. Mm-hmm. And then one day I was talking to Chris Caldwell and said, I've not got that taken care of. I don't even know that he was aware of it. I said, who do I need to talk to? And he gave me the name, if I can say it's Tiffany Bernard. Mm-hmm. And so I met with her personally this time, and we got everything ironed out.
Okay. Do you know when that was?
Yeah, it was in April sometime.
It was in April, okay.
We had to make an appointment. I mean, she called up, I don't know, me, her, whatever, so it might have been a day or two before, but it was pretty prompt.
Okay. So, because I know that you had scheduled to like have it start coming out of your paycheck in April. So I was trying to figure out where the
right. That was in lieu of me paying it off.
Okay.
Paying all of it.
Right.
And because we do use it because we do have to report it, I also had to pay the back requirement. So, you know, all that has been handled, mm-hmm. and now it's handled. And here again for accounting, because I guess it's got to do with but they wanted to be sure it got credit to that account under my name, versus it would be different, just go hand them a check and pay the thing off. So. So we just did what was best for the county, really, the way that I understand it.
So this coming paycheck will be the first one that gets pulled out, right?
Yes,
okay.
As far as, yes.
Yeah. I know, it's all kind of a mess with dates and everything like that, you know.
I just know that it's going to happen. It's going to occur over 3 paydays. I probably even had the option to do it more. I just said I want it off off the thing.
Yeah.
And this before that all this has become due. Just a normal course of business. I might have been a little tardy, but we set out with the intention of getting it done, and it did partially get done, then it's fully done.
Yeah. About how much are they taking out to pay it off?
Oh, I think it's somewhere around $1,000 a pay period.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we were just like trying to figure out how all of this was gonna play out, you know, because with everything going on, you know, you're like, what is happening?
So they've held it out, and it was reported to the IRS. Now it goes back, and this is a clean way, I guess, to report that versus trying to put an account versus. But that was just our recommendation. I guess if I'd insisted, they would have done something else. But
I'm sure. I'm sure. All right. Well, Mr. Ballard, what is, you know, is there anything that you would want your constituents to know? I know with all this stuff with Mr. Biggs and everything, it's a little bit, might be a little bit rocky about what's going on, but do you have anything that you would want them to know?
well, that I think that I did the things the right way, a little tardy maybe in getting the paperwork done. But we set out to do that when I made the decision, which was an option of mine, but I don't feel like I've broken any trust. There's no lost money, no abuse of the vehicle that I can see using it for what that we do, and I was allowed to take the vehicle home. So I don't know really what to say because, again, I was under no public scrutiny or anything to do this. I don't feel like it was a mistake. I just feel like I did the right thing in getting the paperwork handled, a little tardy, but handled.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really appreciate you for doing it. Well, Mr. Ballard, I think that we are good to go.
Okay.
I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do all this.